Joining me right now is Ronald Reagan Institute Director and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense, Roger Zakheim. Roger, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What's your assessment? What's your take now on what's happening between the U.S. and Russia as it relates to Ukraine? How do you read it?
Well, there's a standoff. And the United States and the allies and NATO have basically said we're not going to negotiate away the freedom of the people of Ukraine, nor will we allow Russia to dictate who goes in or who does not go into NATO. That's right, and that should be the posture they should stick with.
Well, we are going to see a vote today in the Senate on Senator Ted Cruz's bill to slap sanctions on Nord Stream 2 pipeline. We want to see who will vote for this legislation, which needs at least 60 votes to pass. Senator Bob Menendez unveiled a new bill yesterday that would only set off sanctions if Russia invades Ukraine, giving Democrats another option. Roger, your thoughts as Republicans complain that this president allowed the Nord Stream pipeline to go through, and yet he killed all the other pipelines, the XL pipeline in America.
Well, the Biden administration came in. President Biden wanted to have predictability and stability with Russia, with Vladimir Putin. None of that played out. In fact, Vladimir Putin has been challenging and exploiting a perceived opportunity to challenge Ukraine, to create instability and division within Europe. Sanctions is a key area to apply pressure on Vladimir Putin. It's good that the Senate's going to take up a sanctions regime that will attack and challenge Russia's financial institutions, making it more difficult and deterring them from invading Ukraine. But Nord Stream 2 should also be on the table. It was a mistake to take it off the table at the start of the Biden administration. And Senator Cruz is doing the right thing here by saying, why should we allow Russia to benefit from capital from Europe and make Europe more dependent on Russia at a time where Russia seeks to invade Ukraine and seeks to undermine the freedom of the people in Europe?
Yeah, but it's not just Russia, right? I mean, you see China also getting aggressive with this president. You've got Vladimir Putin doing whatever he wants with troops at the border of Ukraine, Xi Jinping doing whatever he wants, sending planes into the zone, the defense zone of Taiwan. We have a story today that China is harvesting Americans' personal information for espionage, military operations. Why all of this aggressiveness now?
Well, listen, this is what authoritarians do. If they perceive that the United States is looking inside, is not seeking to continue to be a global leader, and the country that's going to stand up to authoritarian regimes, that's going to provide the security that ensures freedom and the free flow of goods around the world, they're going to exploit that opportunity. We have seen a degradation of deterrence, whether it's in the South China Sea or as it relates to Taiwan, as you point out, or what we're seeing right now in Europe. We need to restore that deterrence. Part of that is being convincing that we will stand up for those principles around the world. And part of it is continue to invest in our military and make those decisions that will demonstrate to autocrats like Vladimir Putin that we're not going to tolerate these adventures.
Yeah, well, you make a really good point saying investing in our military. That is something this administration is not doing. Look at the budget. Defense spending actually was declining when you compare inflation. Inflation hit a record 7% in December. We are talking about spikes in pricing everywhere. And Roger, you say this is a huge problem for the Defense Department. Even as the Defense Department and Homeland Security Department and so many other agencies are not making our readiness or our national security the #1 priority. Instead, they're making the #1 priority, Roger, climate change.
Well, there are a variety of priorities. Clearly, the Biden administration is emphasizing climate and its place in the Department of Defense. This is all happening at a time where, as you point out, the buying power within the Department of Defense is going down because of inflation. And the headline today is that inflation was somewhere between 6.8 to 7%. For the Congress, which sought to increase the amount of money for the Department of Defense, meaning beyond what the Biden administration requested, with these inflation numbers, it comes out to a net loss. In other words, we're going to fund the military below what we were going to fund it the previous year. And it's even more of a problem in the military because you're, of course, going to go ahead and give pay raises to the men and women in uniform. You want to prioritize that at above inflation, which means there'll be even less money to invest in modernization platforms and the research and development that's required to keep pace with China and what Russia is doing.
Yeah, it's an issue that we have been focused on, and we will continue to. Roger, good to see you. Thanks very much, Roger Zakheim.